What's up, guys, and welcome back. If you are returning, if you are new here, my name is Devontae Kelly, and I teach first grade in the Tennessee area. We are going to be here super quick. I'm not planning on staying here long. There are a couple of things I need to do. Number one, I need to make some anchor charts for this week. Number two, I need to grab the books that we're reading this week. And number three, there are a couple extra materials for our reading curriculum that I need to get together. So I am going to get that ready. But before I do that, there were a couple of questions that I had from some of you guys since my classroom tour video. So I'm going to sit down at my table real quick, get this camera set up, and then we'll get into some things. All right, so first off, I just want to say thank you so much for all of the positive notes, not only on YouTube, but also on Instagram too, if you follow me there. People are complimenting about how open it is, how functional it is, how great it looks. So thank you guys so much for that. A couple of questions that I did get. Some people saw that I only had my teacher table and my kidney table, and I got the question of if I have an EA, a classroom EA. What we have at my school are grade level EAs. So instead of each classroom having their own teacher aide, the grade level has one that we share between each other. It does make it a little bit more difficult when there's stuff that I need to get done, but I also don't think that I would want to have a whole other person in here with me all the time. I'm a person where I just like to do my thing and me do it rather than somebody else do it. So that's totally fine with me. There are 7 of us on the first grade team, and so she splits her time between all of us, between all 7 of us, and the extra duties that she has to do as far as like arrival, dismissal, cafeteria duty, her lunch break, and then all of the copies and things that she does outside of our time. And we each get her for about 30-ish minutes a day. Which is fine. I usually have her like pull kids to work on high frequency words, pull kids to work on fluency, pull kids to work on assignments that they haven't finished yet. So totally fine with that, totally cool with that. I don't mind it. Another question that I got was our class clip chart. Now, I purposely did not say anything about it because I know it's kind of controversial, but I'll just go ahead and say it now. At my school, we have to have grade level behavior things. Just that way it kind of keeps it across the board. It's the same way for our homework. We have the same homework policy. We have the same behavior policy. I will tell you, like I told my parents, that clip chart is really like a last resort. I'll use a whole bunch of different things in the classroom. I have them work together as a team to earn table points in crayons. You guys have seen that on my board before. Once they get to 10, they have to go to the gumball machine. They have individual positive points they can get in the form of tickets, so they can collect tickets, and then depending on how many they get, when I open up the ticket store, they can get the items that they have enough tickets for. I mean, then as far as consequences, I'm always very direct with that kind of stuff. So I always give warnings. I always give logical consequences for things. I always do restorative practices where we go over what happened, what shouldn't have happened, what we can do better next time. I have a calm down corner, so that way if they need that, they can handle that. And the clip chart is really for when every other thing that I have in place doesn't work. I told my parents 90% of the time, when you look at your child's folder, they're going to be on green. If they're doing things amazing, they'll be on yellow sometimes. If they do things where I've said 5, 6, 7 times that not to do something and it's still being done, or if I have directions that I give and they're not following it consistently after I've done every single other thing, then yes, they will clip down. I also told parents, if at any point they're under green, you're going to hear from me because that means we have a problem. And that's just kind of how I use it. And if you like that, great. If you don't like that, great. I have to use it, and that's what I'm using it for. So sorry if you don't, but it's not going anywhere. Another thing that I got questions about, I kind of forgot, so they must not have been that important. But those are the 2 things that I got the most questions about. What I'm going to do now, I am going to get some things together. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to start making some anchor charts. So I need 2 anchor charts for next week. One is going to be for our math. Our math skill for this week is counting on to add, using the counting on strategy. And I'm going to make another anchor chart for our writing which is common and proper nouns. So you're gonna see me making that stuff. After that, we're gonna get into our reading, which is asking and answer questions about a topic. Our topic is gonna be tools, and so you'll be seeing a bunch of books and tasks geared towards that. So I'm gonna pause you and then show you what we'll be doing. All right, guys, I have just finished with making my 2 anchor charts. They're right up here. This one is for our math this week, counting on, and this one is for nouns this week and talking about common versus proper nouns. These are all done. I also went ahead and got our materials for EL together. So we'll be starting Module 1, Unit 1, Lesson 1 on Monday. And so I just went ahead and put up all the books for Module 1. We'll be using these, really all 4, throughout the first week of school. And then this one will kind of be like our anchor text throughout Module 1, Unit 1. And then I also went ahead and put together the different materials that we'll need as well. So the first day of EL, we really just talk about our topic for this module, which is tools. And we'll talk about that tools help people do work, they make life easier, and things like that. On Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, we get into different tool challenges. So what will happen is we'll introduce 3 different tools, and then there will be a challenge that they'll have to do using those tools, and they'll have to figure out which tool is the best one for the job. And then after we do those challenges and after they discuss with their partners or teams, usually at the end of every lesson, there will be like a worksheet kind of like this that'll be draw and label a tool you learned about today. What do you notice about that tool? And each day is kind of geared towards a certain tool. So like Tuesday is about chef tools, Wednesday is about science tools, Thursday is about math tools. And so we'll read those books with each challenge. And then on Friday, we really hit our anchor text, which is tools right here, talking about how tools do work, the types of tools that people use. We'll get into sorting tools into categories, so tools that farm versus tools that cook versus tools that eat versus tools that draw, all different types of things. So that's kind of what we'll be doing in EL. I have all of our different materials for our tools in here. So these are the tools we'll use one day. Here are all the tools we'll use another day. That's kind of what we'll be doing in EL. All right, so with all that being said, I'm about to get out of here. I've been here for about 2.5 hours. I got all the things I needed done. I got their Friends of Pencils done, which I don't know if I talked about Friends of Pencils, so I'm gonna talk about it super quick before I go home. But in their pencil pouches, I know I talked about, okay. So in their pencil pouches, I know I've talked about all their supplies being in their pencil pouch. So when I introduce pencils, I introduce to them what we use them for, what we do with them, what we don't do with them, and then I give them their pencils. Each child has 5 pencils. Every pencil has their number on it, and it's their responsibility to keep up with their pencils. I don't sharpen pencils during the week. I'm not looking at your pencil during the week. Do not show me your pencils during the week. That's not my responsibility. If you break a pencil, grab another one. If your pencil doesn't have an eraser, grab another one, and then I'll check them on Fridays, and then you'll see if you're printing a pencil or not on Monday. So really all it is, as long as they keep up with their own pencils, as long as they have all 5, and as long as all 5 are theirs, they get a pencil prize. I don't care if it doesn't have an eraser. I don't care if it's not sharpened. I'll replace them as they need. And then, like you saw, if they were a friend of pencils, they'll have a little card inside that says, yay, I'm a friend of pencils, and they get to get a pencil prize. Now, If they do not have all 5 of their pencils, or if they have someone else's pencils, they're not a friend of pencils, and they'll get one of these right here. It says, oops, looks like you don't have all your pencils. Try again next week. If you have this card, you'll just hand me your card. I will give you the pencils that you need, and then you're back at 5 on Monday, and you'll try again the next week. If you are a friend of pencils, then you'll get to go to my pencil prize bucket. So my pencil prize bucket has a couple of different things in there depending on how fancy I want to get. Sometimes I have color dry erase markers. Sometimes I have the smelly stickers. Sometimes I have the big, not the pink erasers, but they're like animal erasers that you like take apart, whatever. This first one's going to be super simple. I don't want to make it too complicated. You can either get a fancy pencil. You can get a pencil eraser, and I have different types. You can get the regular like cap erasers, or I have some little mini erasers in different shapes and things that you can get for that. It's just up to you what you want. Or if you do want to get a little fancy, you can get your own little bit of sticky notes. I don't care what you use it for. Write everybody a note. I don't care. But it's about 5 or 6 in each little bundle in there. And they can get that if they want it. Like I said, each week I'll change them out with the different prizes that I have. This week I'll keep it like that. And that's just kind of how I do it. Each week you start with 5. As long as you have your 5 on Friday, you get a prize. And if not, you'll get your extra pencils, so that way you can try again for the next time. But that's just an easy way for me, so that way I'm not constantly having to hear, Mr. Kelly, my pencils are not sharpened. That way I don't have to worry about you not being able to do your work because you don't know where your pencil is. And it teaches them responsibility and taking care of their supplies. So win-win for me, win-win for them. Everybody's happy and everybody can do their own thing. I will see you guys later on this week. I'm really not sure when I'm going to pick you up again. Probably not on Tuesday because that's faculty meeting day. But we'll see how the week shakes out. This darn chair just squeaks so much. Lord have mercy. What's up, guys? Happy Thursday. Today is August the 17th. We are done with school today. We just finished with dismissal, and I wanted to take a couple minutes just to check in with you guys. I have not talked to you at all this week, and I wanted to kind of catch you up on some of the chaoticness that's been this week. So we started our academic things this week. It's been going great. Today was the day where we really got into our groove of how our routines go and things like that. So knowing how we go from one subject to the next, when we take our breaks, how we take our breaks, when we eat snack, when we eat lunch. So yeah, we've had our iReady testing this week. It's been fun because we found out in kindergarten and first grade that half our laptops are too old to update for the software for iReady. So we've had to buddy up with each other and finagle laptops and try to have enough for everybody to do their iReady testing. Today I had a new student in the class. We had a fire drill. I say drill, but it was a real thing. The fire department came out and everything, standing on the school, all types of stuff. So it was a very interesting day. On top of an already interesting week. Super quick, what I want to do is I want to talk to you about the things we've been talking about this week, what we've been learning, and then kind of wrapping it up. I may vlog tomorrow, I may not, just depending on how tomorrow goes. But I do want to talk to you about what we've done this week. So I'm going to stop. I'm going to flip you around to show you my screen, and then I'm going to show you what we've been doing this week. So in math this week, we've been talking about counting on, so starting at a number and then counting some more to find the total. Our big thing this week is making sure that we're not starting at 1. We're not really counting that first group. We're grouping that together and then counting on from there. And there are a couple of different strategies that we've been talking about this week. I'm going to turn you over and move you up, kind of show you what we've been doing. So on Monday, our big strategy was just understanding that we can count on from different numbers. So on Monday, we had a number path from 1 to 10. I would circle a number, and then we would just count on up to 10 from there. So I might circle the number 6, and then they would go 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, just to get that practice in there of that rote counting. Then they would get a problem that looked like this. We would read it together. We would talk about what number we're starting with. And my strategy for Monday was just making a picture. So put it in a box, 7, and then add some more. We were adding 3 more because it tells us, so we're gonna add 3 more dots. And then we just count on from there. 7, 8, 9, 10. So 7 plus 3 more would give us the number 10. That was our strategy on Monday. Strategy 2 was when there was a picture that was already given to us. And that would be one that would look like this. So 6 red blocks and 2 blue blocks. It wouldn't have the number sentence there because we weren't working on that part yet. But it would have these lines to show that we're grouping this one together. Then we add this one and this one. So we would know that this is 6 because we're starting with 6 red, and then we count on 7, 8. So that's kind of what we did on Tuesday. On Wednesday, it was a repetition of Monday and Tuesday. We used those same 2 strategies, but then we took it to the next step in making a number sentence. We started with 6, we added 2 more, and that equals 8. 8's our total. We talked about that word total. We talked about that word sum. We have not introduced yet how we can start at the total because that's going to come up in a different lesson. It'll come up in about 3 weeks. So we don't want to introduce that just yet, but we do want to introduce what a number sentence is and what it looks like and how it flows. So that was yesterday. Today, what we were doing was just practicing. So I called it fast math. And so they could choose whatever strategy they wanted, whether it was doing it in a box and then counting on some more, whether they wanted to use the picture they already had, or if you wanted to use any other strategy that you had in your brain. So that was what we did today. Tomorrow we're going to continue reviewing, and then we'll have our exit ticket. Then we'll have our assessment tomorrow over counting on. So that's how we did that. All right, now I'm going to take you back to me because I can just talk about the rest. So phonics, we're working on letter formation and handwriting. So we're introducing 2 letters a day, and then we practice writing it. We do a little chant with it, and we just practice that handwriting. They're doing really great with that, so I have no complaints on that so far. In EL, we've been working on tools and how tools make different types of work easier. We've been doing that by doing different challenges. So today we had a science challenge where we used different science tools. And we just did challenges using it, and they had to choose the right tool to do the job. Yesterday, we did a math challenge with math tools. The day before, we did a chef challenge with chef tools. And after today, we're actually going to stop our challenges. Today was the last challenge. Thank the Lord, because that prep was a mess. But we're going to be using an anchor text tools to talk about different type of tools and how they make work easier. In social studies, we've been talking about cultures and how cultures are the ways and customs that people in a community live. We talked about how culture can depend on the foods that you eat, the languages you speak, all that fun stuff. And then we talk about how people can have different cultures. Different people in the same community can have different cultures. So that beginning understanding of multiculturalism. That's been going well. And then in writing and grammar, we've been talking about common and proper nouns. They've got it going on. No complaints academically so far. The thing that I do have an issue with is that there are some friends in our room that talk a lot more than I do. No big deal. I've already established positive relationships with everybody in my classroom. I've messaged parents before our open house even started. I've messaged parents during the first week of school about positive things that I've seen in the class with them. Any questions that they've had, I've answered them as quickly as I could. I've reached out to them, seeing if they had any questions about anything throughout the past 2 weeks. So I've really been trying to make sure that we have that open form of communication, so that way when I have to talk to them about something that's not so good, it's not the first thing that they're hearing from me. So that way they know that, like, I want your child to succeed. I am on your side in making sure that your child not only loves school, but they learn as well. It's just that, sometimes we have some things that kind of hinder that. So I'll actually be talking to 2 parents today. But I think it'll go over very well. Not a huge issue. Oh, also, I promise you guys, I've not forgotten about the PLC video. I've not recorded anything during our PLC so far just because we are doing our PLC in a little bit of a different way. So once we get really comfortable in that, I will start to do that type of stuff. So I promise it's coming. It's just not coming right away. Other than that, I really don't have anything else for you. I'm gonna clean up a little bit in here. Then I'm gonna go run some errands, and then I'm gonna go to the movies because I am gonna see the new Blue Beetle movie. So hope it's good. I will see you guys tomorrow.